When people first think about drones, I think the first thing that they think about is video or photography, which in a large part is data. But beyond that, I think what you can do with a lot of that content, whether you take a series of different photos and stitch them into a 3D model, or if you take a video and stitch that or kind of pull that into a 3D space, you have suddenly opened up new possibilities to tell these stories. So in a very specific way, I think, looking at information, whether that's a photograph or a video or text or a data set or a PDF or a document of some sort that you find on Google search, this is all the type of material that we're trying to surface and make more readily available to users. In a similar way, I think drones provide this type of opportunity for storytellers or for journalists to take information, to reconfigure it in a way that helps tell a story in a better way. One of the simple tools that you can actually use is Google Earth and Google Earth Pro. So you can actually stitch these 3D models together using a variety of third-party software, drop this into Google Earth, and then create animations or other types of tours using this model, which has now been geotagged and dropped into the specific location where it would exist in real space, and tell narratives and tell stories using that technology. So if you imagine, for example, disaster recovery, you fly over Tibet after an earthquake and you do 3D models of this terrain. Now you've got yourself a topographical view which is dropped over top of actual satellite imagery, and it gives you a real interesting perspective of what that particular region might look like. Or a building that may have been destroyed during a tornado, for example, or the development of a new building that's been built over time. So you could do a lot of different things, taking news where all news happens someplace, take this information, create a 3D model of that particular space, locate it geographically on a map, and give somebody that context that might be missing otherwise. I think that users are ready for new forms of storytelling wherever it might come. So we on the News Lab take a look at a lot of different areas of the industry. So we look at this, or at least the way I look at this, is as immersive storytelling. And this kind of fits into a broader category of various different tools that include things like VR, 360 video. But really what it is pushing the boundaries of storytelling using new forms of technology to help tell those stories in new ways. So as far as are users ready for it or not, I think they are. I think they just don't always know what they don't know, and they don't maybe always understand what new opportunities might come down the pipeline. So we're just trying to provide easier ways for journalists to get access to these tools so they can present those to their viewers and get that kind of interaction and response that they're looking for. I think Google Cardboard is part of a larger ecosystem of a way to find new content or new audiences through these new formats of storytelling. So if you imagine YouTube as the container or the platform, Cardboard or Daydream or other types of headsets from other companies, this is just a new way to reach audiences, a new way to immerse them into those stories. I think in most cases people will experience VR or 360 video probably first on their phone, navigating around with their finger or actually using the phone. We call it a magic window, kind of looking into that 360 world. Or they might experience it on their desktop. If the story is compelling enough, if it's interesting enough, then you're actually engaging with the viewer in a more intimate way by allowing them the opportunity to put it into this headset. They can put it on their face and they can immerse themselves into this world, into this story.
My name is Ghaith Abdelahad. I am an Iraqi journalist. I have been covering war in my country for more than a decade. Now I'm in Mosul for Frontline and The Guardian, reporting on the battle against ISIS.
We're very early on in the VR and 360 space right now. There's a lot of new technology that's coming out. Google's actually just announced new formatting of 360 videos to make it feel more natural, so that the focus area of the viewer, usually in the center or the middle areas of that screen, are the sharpest and the most in focus, but also the peripheral views are actually coming into better clarity so that it isn't as disorienting. So I think there's a relationship between the storytelling and the technological end of things that needs to occur in order to kind of bring this technology to a place that's more comfortable for the average viewer. There's going to be different types of interfaces. Right now we're using these cardboards and these other types of headsets that are physical objects that you put on your face. And I think that's a byproduct of how we are used to experiencing content. It's a flat screen, it's a surface of some sort. I think as we move into augmented reality and other forms of computing, we're going to see different types of interfaces, maybe contact lenses, I'm not quite sure. But I see that there's a lot of potential moving in that direction. I mean, we might all end up with chips in the back of our heads someday, who knows? But I hope that as these different platforms evolve, storytellers are able to take advantage of those to help give additional context, give additional flavor, give additional scope and understanding about what the world is around their users and their viewers, and help tell those stories in unique ways. Is it a young person's medium? Is it a young person's technology? I think that's only a limited view of what's the potential of this different technology. And I think that if you tell a good story, whether that's in print or in a photograph or in video or in VR or in augmented reality or a data visualization, I think if you could tell a good story, it doesn't matter how old you are. I think it's getting at the human quality of that story that really matters. I think those shiny things and those new kind of things to reach for, that's aspirational. That's pushing the boundaries of what can be done or how stories can be told. Will it stick around? Will it be the thing that replaces some other new technology? I think that's almost the wrong questions to be asking. I think the right questions to be asking are, how can I take best advantage of this to reach new audiences, to tell stories in new and innovative ways, or maybe change my perspective of how a story can even be told in the first place.